Hi, gang. I am pretty excited. This is one of my favorite topics. I know I'm going early, just a little bit earlier than we're supposed to be. We're supposed to start at 3:30, and it's about 3:10, and I'm starting early because we have a big party with our team, and it's quite a drive out there. We're having a big barn party, so I have to be able to leave early enough to get there. So I thought I would just pop on here 20 minutes early. If you missed the beginning, just go ahead and watch the replay and catch up. So I'm going to start like I always do by oiling up. And today I'm using a little bit of yelling and we will talk about that one today. Ooh, it's a fresh one. Mmm, it's an amazing aroma. I like to put that one all over my heart. Get it in my hair. Ylang is about balance and bringing that good energy and focus and so many different good things. So you look up ylang, you'll see it's good for just overall different things. So I am going to jump right in. I'm not going to chit chat very long, even though I know some of you are still logging in. And it's because I try to keep these at 30 minutes long, but we are talking about your cardiovascular system. Now, let's be honest, your cardiovascular system, that's going to take a minute. That is every beat of your heart, all of the blood, all of the circulation that you have going on. Those are the things that we're going to be chit-chatting about. And like just to get a perspective, your beautiful, amazing heart, I got to read this so I make sure I get the amount right. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day and it pumps 1.5 gallons of blood a minute. That to me is shocking. That is some amazing information. So, for me, some of you guys know me, some of you may not know me. I had open heart surgery about where are we at now? Maybe 8 months ago. And I had been dealing with for a really long time and didn't know it. One of my valves wasn't working right because I had had rheumatic fever as a child, and it caused some long-term damage. And we didn't know anything about it. And I just functioned and pushed through. And I was tired all the time, and I couldn't breathe, and I would get winded really easy, and all the different symptoms. But my blood pressure was perfectly perfect. My pulse was perfect. My C-reactive protein, like all the things that you would normally be diagnosed with heart issues. I didn't have them. I had other stuff. I have multiple sclerosis and I have leukemia, chronic lymphocyte leukemia. So every time I would go to the doctor with a symptom and I would say, I'm just so tired, they would say, of course you're tired. You have leukemia. It makes you tired. And they would just kind of blow me off. They would say, you have leukemia and you won't do the treatment because I was doing some other things for my health. And they would say the same thing, I started having the breathing problems. They actually put me on oxygen. It might even be 2 years ago that they had put me on oxygen because my O2 was really low, but they weren't looking at my heart as the cause. And they said, well, it's just because you have MS. And when you have MS, you have something called an MS hug, and it will squeeze in and it can cause problems with the lungs, and you're probably not breathing deep enough. And they just gave me all these different excuses. Again, you have MS, of course you're tired, of course you can't breathe. It's just your kind of lot in life. Just deal with it. And I had dealt with it for I want to say over 10 years. I had been feeling the mm, I didn't think I'd get emotional. I'd been really weak for a long time. And in fall of last year, this time exactly, I had really stepped out of almost everything that I was doing. I was in the middle of teaching a class and my body just stopped. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. I had to be taken out of class and somebody else stepped up and taught for me because it had just gotten so bad. And I remember that was like the middle of August. And I remember thinking, like my birthday just happened 2 days ago. And I remember thinking this will be the last birthday I'll be here for. I remember, coming up into Halloween. It's going to be the last Halloween. I want to see my granddaughter all dressed up. It's Christmas. It's going to be the last Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of those things. I knew it was the last time that I was going to be around for it. I knew that I was dying. And I had tried all the things and didn't know what my button was, what was missing, because there's parts and pieces that your body has to have. And I wasn't getting them. They said that I was having very tiny amount of blood flow going through. So I wasn't oxygenated. I ended up with anemia and just the side effects of things that can happen. Being anemic for so long and not getting treatment, caused my heart to enlarge. So just so many parts and pieces. And I decided I wanted to share with you guys because I know I'm not the only person. I'm not the only person going through those struggles. I mean, truthfully, the number one killer of men and women today is heart disease. And it's a heart attack that jumps up out of the blue and you didn't even know it, and people die instantly from that. And I figured, if there's things that we can do to feed that system, and there's things we can do, because there's a reason why even with the tiny blood flow I had and not enough oxygen, I didn't have high blood pressure because there's some basic things that I was doing for the leukemia and for the MS that were helping with all the other side effects. So those are some of the things I want to talk about. And some of them, you guys are going to roll your eyes. You're going to be like, totally knew that. She's just like everybody else. And one is going to be movement. We need to be moving. We need to be having that muscle pump. So even when I was in a wheelchair and I couldn't move because of the MS, I would bounce, lots of bouncing because it gets the lymph system moving. So I would bounce. I would do some things with my arms. I couldn't do very much because I would get winded so quick, but I would do something. So I implore you, if you can't do 5 minutes of a seated thing, then do 2 minutes of a seated thing. What we want is we want to get where we are deep breathing so that your heart is pumping, so your lungs are expanding. Aerobic exercise literally means the word aerobics translates it to in oxygen. So no matter how weak and tired you are right now, you need to get your body into oxygen. So even doing some breathing exercises, some deep breathing, and you can find oodles of those on YouTube. So I'm not going to go deep into that. I do think I have a couple of posted on my ShannonHudsonYL.com website because we just did a class on catching your breath. So doing some of those things to get in oxygen. There's some other basic things. Drinking water. I know right now you guys are going, oh my God, you said that last time you talked. That is because it's that important. Think about it. Your cardiovascular system, all of that blood moving through you, that blood needs water. You can't, when you're dehydrated, okay, you think I'm crazy? If you go into the hospital and you have to have an IV put in and you are dehydrated, how much harder it is for them to get that needle into your vein. Dehydration makes it harder. So make sure you're drinking good old-fashioned water. I know y'all like your coffee and you like your teas and you like your sodas, but we need to hydrate our body. We need to hydrate ourselves. It's desperate for it. So make sure you have that water going. Water is going to help everything else. As a matter of fact, if you go into ER and you've got anything going on other than a broken bone, pretty much what's the first thing they do? They give you an IV to hydrate you, and then they're gone for an hour because sometimes some of those aches and pains, some of the breathing problems, some of the things get better just by having a little hydration going on. So we should skip that part, right? And do the other things. So another one I want to talk about is your emotions. And I know right now, the minute I said emotions, some of you guys are, I'm checking out. You got to understand there's all kinds of things that we say, and emotions affect us. And if you think I'm crazy, think about this. You're driving down the road, everything is fine. A deer dumps out in front of you, middle of the day, you hit the brakes, and you steer around, and your heart is beating, your hands are sweaty. You're chit-chatting with somebody on Facebook and they start getting snarky and you guys start fighting back and forth. You're not even near them and your heart will start racing. Your stomach gets upset and you are so angry and you can feel it. You find out that somebody you know passed away and it hits you like a ton of bricks right in the chest and it takes your breath away. All of those were emotional responses. They were not physiological. Somebody didn't come up with a bat and hit you in the chest to take your breath away. It was the emotion of it. And those emotions, we bury them all the time. Like from the time we're little, we are told to stop crying and no, it's okay. And people are mean and kids are mean and they say you're stupid. And we go to high school and all the mean things that are said. We're dating, we're broke up, we're dating, we're broke up, we're dating, we're broke up, we're married, we're divorced, we have children, they love us, they hate us, the teens want to go away. And we go through that emotional trauma all the time. And we have been taught, we have been trained to just suck it up, to just move past it. And I want you to know that those emotions set inside us. We say things like, oh, you're killing me. Oh, you're breaking my heart. You think that those words, you're breaking my heart, like that Everybody feels the same way. It's all up here. No, it's emotional. And there's some connections to that. So think about it. Number one killer for men and women is heart disease. But think of how much emotional trauma we have had through the years. You've had somebody pass away. That's emotional trauma. Divorce, that's emotional trauma. All of those things. Somebody says something mean to you and you pretend it didn't bother you, but it does. You hold it up here, you hold it here, and you put up this wall of protection so that you can harden your heart so nobody can hurt you again. And I really implore you, check out our feelings kit. The feelings kit was designed to take all of those traumas and help to release them. So I'm not going to go deep into that. I do have a video on the emotions that you really need to check out when it comes to having that amazing heart health. The feelings kit, that might be a place for you to start. I don't know. I don't know your history. I'm just saying things that I had to do for me to get my head on straight and to be able to fix stuff. Because sometimes that physiological stuff is happening because of emotional trauma. Now I'm just saying things to look at. Then there's, physical. A lot of the very medicines that we're taking for our heart can cause some of the other heart problems we're having. So if you're having where your heart is racing and the doctor put you on a medicine 2 weeks before, call them up, let them know, hey, this is causing this. Sometimes we like act like we're martyrs, like we have no control over it. I am not a big medicine advocate, but there is a time and a place when you need assistance, that you need the doctors to do their thing. I am cut from stem to stern. I had a friend recently tell me, girl, that just looks like cleavage. That doesn't look like a scar at all. So I'll take that. It sounds better than having that big old scar. But I needed the doctor. So if you are working with the doctor and they have you on medication and you are having side effects you didn't even know about, like for a lot of people that are on cholesterol lowering meds, I want you to research that yourself. But I want you to know that for a lot of people on cholesterol lowering meds, it can cause a lot of aches and a lot of pains and a lot of other side effects. So if you're feeling stuff you weren't feeling before you started something new, let your doctor know. They have some options and things that you can do. So make sure you're talking to them, looping them in with things that are going on. Don't just stop your meds. Don't just go, oh, I'm going to do this instead. Keep your doctor informed on what your plans are and what you're doing. Because some of those things, like a lot of people take aspirin because back in the day, they used to tell people baby aspirin a day is really good for your heart. But even the Heart Association said that's not accurate information. They now know that it causes all kinds of ulcers and that the side effects are worse. And then when they ran their numbers, this is their own studies, they ran their numbers, they decided that it didn't stop people from having another heart attack, which was the original plan with the baby aspirin. They thought that little bit of a blood thinner would help. But what they found is in that an original study, there was something else, and it was that the aspirin they were giving the people was coated in magnesium. And it was actually the magnesium that was helping so that there were fewer heart attacks in the people that were taking the baby aspirin. So baby aspirin can cause a burning in the stomach. It can cause the holes. Like I said, get with your doctor and say, okay, this is something I'm not sure that I want to keep doing, or can we do something different? Because they do have 1,000 options. I'm not, again, I am not for or anti-meds. I'm just letting you know that we can be in control of the side effects, that there are some things that we can do to take care of ourselves. So if magnesium was one of those things that was helping a lot of people, and that's what was doing the difference in the study, then maybe magnesium is a piece that you can add to your lifestyle. There's lots of foods that have lots of magnesium in them. Start enjoying some of those foods, and then you can get something like Ancient Minerals is a magnesium rub that you can do. It's an oil you can rub on, and that way you're getting more magnesium, absorbing it through the skin. Because if you take really high dose magnesium orally, it can give you the runs, and most people aren't a fan of the Hershey squirts, so I don't want to recommend that. But you could do some oils topically, or you can do Epsom salt in a bath. That's a magnesium, so maybe that's a piece that would be fantastic for you. It's also great for aches and pains and muscle issues, so it's a great one that you can play with. Another one, we talked about the movement, how important it is to get some movement going. So you're breathing deep. But you also need to be stretching. We need to be utilizing those. And when you start working out or doing weights or punching bags, we've got a great product that's got some of those electrolytes in there. It's called our Amino Wise. And the Amino Wise is amazing for recovery. After you work out, it helps you have a quicker recovery. So those achy, sore muscles, it's able to pop that back so you feel a little bit stronger afterwards. But then it also has things like your potassium in there. It's got the good healthy sodium and all those electrolytes that help you, that dehydration we talked about, it helps you to stay hydrated and keeps your electrolytes in balance. I know my husband had AFib, and AFib, one of the things that happens with AFib is that your electrolytes get way out of balance. And so he ended up on huge mega doses of potassium because he was super low, and your heart can't beat in the right rhythm if it doesn't have the electricity to it. So he had to have the electricity coming in the right way because what happens with AFib is it beats and then blah, 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 and it beats and blah, 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 and they're going super fast and super slow. Where good high dose potassium, Young Living doesn't have it, but we do have some potassium in our amino wise. So that might be a piece for you. Your electrolytes are a little crazy. Start doing some of that. I tell you guys every single time I teach, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, we need a wide variety of green things. We need a wide variety of oranges and yellows and reds. And I'm not talking about Skittles. I'm talking about we need peppers and we need yellow squashes and we need all the different colors. Each one of those fruits and vegetables, they have different parts and pieces that our body responds to. Our body totally gets it. It uses vitamins and minerals and amino acids and those healthy fats and all those things as building blocks. Think nails and hammer for building a building. Well, your body uses all of those parts and pieces to build you. So today we're talking about your heart and my veins and all my blood itself. So what are things that we can do to add to it? Well, those greens and those reds, I talk about Ninja Red probably every time I talk. This juice right here, this is a game changer for overall health. This is all about giving you that energy, that dip that happens in the middle of the day. This is going to help with it. It's going to help with having that strong, beautiful immune system we're supposed to have. And it's amazing. I want you to think anytime you're thinking the red berries and the peppers and all of those bright colored foods, carrots, all of those have different nutrients that are in the vitamin A family. And those vitamin A's help our body to be able to have that beautiful, healthy vision and eyes and heart and blood, all those good things. So they're just food for those areas. So again, we don't know we don't know which piece your little body needs, but what if, right? So I see somebody posted a question, will increased potassium get rid of AFib? I wouldn't be able to say that. I would say you can play with the increased potassium. You can check to see what's going on. There's even a great tool we ordered because after my heart surgery, I was AFib-ish. So I wasn't diagnosed with AFib, but after them cutting it open, I had some issues with it. So we bought I'm going to have to link it to you guys. It's just a little thing so that we could do our EKGs at home so that we could monitor to see as it went away. Because as long as I was AFib-ish, I still had to be on Eliquis as a blood thinner just in case, because that's the possibility of getting blood clots. So we bought that. And so I adjusted the amount of potassium that I was getting because I use Dr. Berg's potassium. It's 1,000 milligrams every single time you do it. Dr. Berg's. I will pop a link in here today after the party. I will put it in. But I used his, and it helped me determine how much of the potassium I needed each day. So how much of his electrolyte solution I was going to do. And for me, it worked out in the beginning. I needed it 4 times a day, and now I just take it in the morning. So everything else takes care of it for me. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you. All I can tell you is what I did for me. My husband is still on Eliquis. He's been on the potassium with me, and he does his 4 a day, and he still has a little bit. It's not bad. He used to be like extreme differences, but you play with it. You see what you got to do for you, and monitor that information. Check with your doctor. Some other things that you can do. The good fats. You guys. I know I talk about it all the time, but your heart, your brain need good, healthy, strong fats. So things like olive oil. One of the cool things about olive oil is how it works with inflammation. So it helps with that C-reactive protein we talked. That's a marker of how inflamed your body is. So it's inflammation like everywhere. And olive oil, one of the good things that happens with olive oil and coconut oil, MCT oil, all the good, healthy, real oils, they help with that inflammation. Think of a door and it's squeaky, and you open the door and you use WD-40 that oils it up. I want you to think of your body inside you. So making sure you're consuming those good fats, getting the good salmon, the wild caught fishes and all those, they're super high. Avocado. Oh, you guys, yes, I love avocado. All those are fantastic. And we have a few, if you know if like I said avocado and you're like, I'm not eating avocado, or any of the fats, you're just not a fish eater, then you're going to have to give yourself some parts and pieces to give your body those extra nails. And some of those, oh, I didn't bring it with me. One is omega Jis. Omega Jis is our good, healthy fats. It's got our fish in there, but it also has essential oils like clove and lemongrass, and they are phenomenal. That would be 4 of those a day. Taking those, it's giving you that boost just to fill in the puzzle pieces of things that are missing. And then we have MindWise. Now, I know this is the heart class, but y'all, MindWise, if you read it, so obviously it's good for the brain, right? This is food for the brain, but it is also amazing what it does for the heart. It says it right in here. It's great for the cardiovascular system. So if you can do something that's going to be great for your little heart and get your brain turned back on so you remember where you left your car, I'm just saying. That's the MindWise. This has got those good healthy fats. It also has something called CoQ10. Now, CoQ10 is one of those parts and pieces that your heart needs, but every single cell in your body has a receptor for CoQ10. So if you're wanting to do a little research for yourself, Google CoQ10 and all the things that it does, but understand that your heart is super greedy. So it will take all the CoQ10 until it gets what it needs before your body will release it to anything else. So it's one of those that your heart just really craves. It really needs. The other one that we have is our olive essentials. We don't talk about this one very much, and we so should. This is the equivalent of getting one of these capsules. So just one of they're teeny tiny. I'm going to pull it out and show you guys. Oh, it's a fresh one. And they're teeny tiny. And one of them, I might not be able to get it out. One of them is equivalent to a liter of olive oil. So I know nobody's on here eating a liter of olive oil, right? But one of these teeny tiny pills has the constituents, the parts and pieces that we would get out of doing a liter. Look how tiny this is of doing a liter of olive oil. So again, if that's one of your little things that your body is desperate and needing, it's a great way to get it in. And even if you are a big fat eater and you do a big fat eater, I crack myself up. Even if you eat a lot of good healthy fats, that's a good one to add because it's some of the parts and pieces that you get in the olives that are in there. So that's a great one. When it comes to the fats, also, I'm going to throw in here vitamin D. So we have our super vitamin D. This is also a really tiny pill, and this one is chewable. So you can just put it right underneath your tongue. I don't know why all of these are not open today. So it's a tiny one, and you can just put it in your mouth and you put it underneath your tongue. Look how tiny this is. And you're just going to let it soak for a second in your spit. And then you're going to chew it up and eat it. And it's a great way to increase the amount of vitamin D we have, especially since we're getting ready here to go into the winter. We're not going to be out in our bikinis getting our sunlight, but vitamin D and your heart are powerful. So start doing some of that. And then there's a bazillion things that vitamin D does for other things. So it's going to help with that thought process. It's going to help with those strong bones and your muscles and all the good things. That's vitamin D. That's one of those that I kind of think like everybody. Somebody just said, what was the last one? So I'm going to tell you, it is super vitamin D. This is the good vitamin D that you need. You also get in our MindWise, you get a little bit of vitamin D. It's also in our master formula. So you can layer the D's, so you're getting all that good stuff that you need to. It is amazing. And you know what? The cool thing about our vitamin D is you can even have your kids take it. So it's a powerhouse for them as well because they're not outside getting the D that we need. We're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to get that sunshine. We don't get the sunshine. We need to give it to ourselves. There's a reason why your skin has literal receptors in it to soak in sunlight and turn it into all of those good things that we need. So it's building your immune system. I know I've already gone over. We're at 23 minutes, so I'm going to rip through the rest of these. This one is our Cardiovascular. So when you're trying to figure out for sure, like your heart, where do you narrow it down? Ninja Red, Cardiogize, these are the two. Like if you gotta go, I can only do two things. Here you go. Cardiogize is food for your heart. I could stop the class right there. The different parts and pieces it has in here, each one of those have been shown traditionally through a very long time that it feeds our heart. That it's those tiny pieces, like how I was saying how important potassium, it's just one little piece that your little heart needs. Magnesium, one little piece that your heart needs. CoQ10, one little piece that your heart needs. And what I love about this is like a multi-nutrient specifically for your heart. It has those parts and pieces. One of the things that we have in here is K2. And K2 is an amazing nutrient. We always talk about vitamin K, and people are like, vitamin K, gotta be careful. But vitamin K2 is a different it's a different nutrient altogether. They do two different things. And the cool stuff about K2, just a few off the top of my head, is how it works with that inflammation. We just talked about the olive oil and how good it is. K2 is amazing for that. K2 has been known for what it can do for the cardiovascular system and for your veins and the blood. It's just a fantastic one. So this is only two. You just have to take two a day, and this is your it's food. It's just food for your little heart. So it's a great one to be able to take. I can tell you that when I'm going through stuff, because I was going through stuff with my heart, and when they went in and did everything, I knew that my heart had they cut it open. They stopped it. I had two transfusion, died on the table. It was not a good situation. But when I came out, I wanted to give some love back to my heart because I had not been taking anything for my heart. My heart had always been fine. So when you look at, like I said, I was doing stuff for MS and I was doing stuff for leukemia, which are all immune type responses, but I didn't know that I had anything going on with my heart. So I really had to up and give more food. So that Cardiogize, even while I was still in the hospital, because I ended up being in the hospital for about 3 months. I was taking Cardiogize 4 times a day. So it calls for two, but I chose for me because I knew I had literally broken my heart, like for legitimately. They cut it open. So I wanted to do some food straight on for my heart. So I was taking 4 of those a day. I was drinking maybe 6 to 12 ounces of Ninja Red, because it's really good. And I knew that it was just giving love to my cells that had just been under a huge assault by everything that I went through. A couple other that I'm going to say right before I end, because I do not want to hit that 30-minute mark. Sulfurzyme. So sulfurzyme is MSM. It also has your wolfberry in here. And this supplement right here is powerful, powerful, powerful for what it does for every single little muscle in your body. So think flexibility, right? So your heart needs that flexibility to be able to move. Your muscles need flexibility. Your lungs need flexibility. And part of what sulfur does is that flexibility. You can also see it in skin. It gives young, healthy looking skin. It's great for the hair and the nails, and it's MSM is hugely important. It's like the third most abundant element in the world. And we are supposed to get huge amounts. Like God intended for us to, every single time you ate vegetables, that you would have gotten that sulfur in there. Every single time you drank water, if you went back in the Wayback Machine, your water came from a well or it came from a lake or it came from all these different sources and they were saturated with sulfur. Sulfur is what happens when your water starts smelling all eggy and you're like, my water's eggy. I gotta do something to the water. That's the sulfur coming out because we need it a whole lot, but we just don't get it. Our cows used to walk around in the fields and they ate grass and they absorbed sulfur. Then when we ate their milk or we ate the cheeses or we ate the cow, we got a lot of sulfur. And it's just not something that's there. It's also not something that's fortified. So like your cereals and stuff, they fortify them with vitamins, but sulfur isn't fortified in there. So anything you think that you need soft, flexible, your veins are supposed to be soft and flexible. And as we age, they get hard and they get brittle. And so they don't have the same amount of fluidity that they're supposed to have. Sulfur is powerful for that. So that's one you might want to check into. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have a minute and a half. I think I'm going to end it right there because I want to tell you about a couple of oils that are just wonderful ones. I just rub these over to my heart. They help me that release, that emotions, feeling better about me. And Aroma Life is one of those. If you have never experienced Aroma Life, It is such a pleasing aroma. And I do just like this. I sprinkle it on my heart and I just rub that in and I just breathe, and all that stuff that has been held there, all of the emotions, it's able to just let some of that go for me. I also do a lot of clove vitality. I eat a lot of clove in my stuff. I will tell you ahead of time, it's a little warm, but clove is just one of those oils that you're just going to really appreciate having. And there's a few other oils. You can look in some different resources to get different oils you could specifically work with it, because I know my time is coming to an end. Did I tell you guys? Oh, I have I have 2 Aroma Life sitting on my desk. Does that tell you something about Aroma Life? The other one I want to do is ylang ylang. We talked about this at the beginning. This is one that if you are dealing with that emotional heart issues, Ylang Ylang is all about the balance, and it is phenomenal. You can put that directly over your heart. You can put it right here. You can just take that and have that diffusing all the time. It's an amazing oil for that. So you guys, I apologize. I know I went a little bit long. I'm trying for 15. This one went for 30. I will be back on next week, and I don't even remember what my topic is next weck, but you can go to shannonhudsonwild.com and you can go under Facebook Lives, and it will tell you all the Facebook Lives that we have coming up. And then if you found this video, if somebody sent you this, they were thinking about you because of your heart and they said, you need to check this out, and you decide you want to try some of the stuff, please get back with them. They are the ones that are going to help you on your oily journey. If you found me by accident, you were Googling heart stuff and I popped up, you just give me a text or a call. I put my phone number in the comments over there, so you can text me and say, hey, I want to keep my heart healthy, and I will get back with you. You can also go to my website, oilyshannon.com, and check it out there or send me a message from there. All right, you guys, God bless, and I will be back on in a week.